It's Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Real Life, Real Crime is a true crime podcast brought to you by Woody Overton and executive producer Toby Tomplay.
To remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to and during any questioning. You can't afford one, a court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights.
Your crime spree was over, son. Yeah, you thought you had it licked, but Detective Overton made your sugar turn to shit. Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Warning. This episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or that are of a sexual nature. It should be for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I did not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts we're retelling you were presented to us by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victims. My description of the crime scenes are what I saw with my own two eyes. If you're gonna get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am obviously not Woody Overton, your host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. My name is Toby Tomplay. I'm the producer of this podcast. And Woody has asked me to come on here and give you guys a quick message because he has been slammed in the field. He's been super busy working the Barbara Blount case, keeping tabs on Courtney Coco, etc. Boots on the ground, as he likes to say. Woody has been so busy, he hasn't even had time to come here in the studio and tell you guys this, so that's why I'm relaying the message. And the message is, stay tuned, y'all, because big things are in the works for Real Life, Real Crime. Woody asked me to let you guys know. He and I will be starting a brand new podcast soon. Separate from, but in addition to, Real Life, Real Crime. And this new podcast will specifically focus on Woody investigating cold cases. That's it. At the end of this episode, Woody asked me to tell you guys a few things about Lopa, so talk to y'all shortly. Without further ado, here is the interview Woody did 2 days ago with Miss Barbara Blount's sister. And get ready.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. And y'all, today, it's a special recording it's on Miss Barbara Blount's case. And first of all, I want to preface it with this. I'm in the field. The audio, if it's not great, I apologize ahead of time. Toby Tomplay, our producer, will do the best he can to clean it up. But I'm unscripted and raw. And so if there's any issues, I apologize ahead of time to the listeners. But today, I wanted to do this episode today. COVID has been going on. Y'all know that Real Life, Real Crime and I and Sheriff Ard have taken on Miss Barbara Blount's cold case. And COVID happened. we were actively working things in leads, and you heard the interviews with Christy and Ricky, and COVID happened and slowed things down, but they didn't stop. But today's interview has been a long time coming, and I want to introduce my guest. Well, actually, I'm their guest. I'm in their home, and it's Miss Barbara's sister, Miss Sarah. Can you tell me your name?
Sarah Bautman.
Baughman. I didn't know how to say it. It's spelled B-A-U-G-H-A-M?
B-A-U-G-H-M-A-N.
Bautman. Bautman. That's unique. What nationality is that?
Don't ask me.
And your daughter, what's your name?
Suzanne Honeycutt.
Okay. All right. First of all, I want to thank y'all for having me. Okay. And I know this is not an easy thing for you, Miss Sarah. And, but thank you for doing this. Okay. And it's important because the crowdsourcing technique using our fans to hear Miss Barbara's story, every time I make a post about it or whatever, I get more tips, okay? And y'all been working this case since the beginning. Again, there was a lot more going on when we were releasing the episodes. But your lifers, I want to thank you for your tips that you have called in, and there's no tip that's irrelevant or that's, I'm not going to think you're stupid or anything like that, and I do not have to share your information with law enforcement. I am working with them, but I do not have to. If you can remain anonymous, okay? So somebody out there knows something. Miss Sarah, thank you for sitting with me, and you are Miss Barbara's sister.
Yes.
And can you tell me about how many brothers and sisters y'all had?
There were 6 boys and 4 girls.
That is a lot.
And Barbara was the youngest girl.
Barbara was younger. I'm gonna move this up just a little bit closer to you. So Barbara was the youngest girl. Mm-hmm. So 10 of y'all. 10. All right. So we had 7. And I thought it was a lot.
Yeah.
And where were y'all raised?
We were born in Alabama, most of us, but we were raised in Ashland, Alabama.
Okay.
And then my dad moved us to New Orleans when I probably was maybe in kindergarten, and we lived down there for a good while. Then he got a job in Bogalusa, which I'm thankful for because I sure wouldn't want to live in New Orleans today.
You're right. In Bogalusa, the big job there was the paper mill, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Washington Parish.
Washington Parish.
Right. And I have a lot of interesting cases there over the years.
Really?
But that's kind of rural, like Livingston or where I'm from, East Feliciana.
Yeah, but it's not the best place in the world to live.
But it's not the worst either.
No, it's not. It's just not the best, and it's not the worst.
So your dad worked for the paper mill?
No, my dad was rarely ever home. He worked away from home all the time.
Okay, all right. But so y'all moved to Washington Parish, and golly,
that's been years. Let's see, about 19, early in the 50s, I'm sure.
Okay.
Because I was, let's see, I can't remember how old I am.
How old is she?
77. Fixed to be 78.
Wow.
But that's a lot of stuff to put up in this little old brain up here.
Yes, that's why the dad says that all the time. He said, I forget things because I have so many years of important knowledge.
That's right.
Yeah, when we first moved to Bogalusa, my dad worked in an auto shop.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a mechanic.
Right.
And but then he went back to New Orleans. He would do various jobs, and he was rarely home.
Okay.
I guess with 10 kids, he didn't need to be around too much.
You may all right, right?
But we had a wonderful mother. I'm telling you, she had her hands full.
I was about to say your mom must have been a saint.
She was a saint, and
tell me about being raised with Miss Barbara, and what was y'all's childhood like?
We were just a poor family.
Right.
We had
But you didn't know you were poor.
Oh no!
Right.
When it's good. It's good now to think back. You can be poor and you can still live a good life.
Right.
But we would when we got to Bogalusa, I met a pastor and his wife, and they would come pick us up. I'd get them all ready for church, and we'd go to church. Of course, my mama didn't go because she had some more kids at home that she had to take care of. So me and my brother and Barbara Ann and Lola, we would go to church, and we enjoyed it, and they were good to us. But Then we got into school, and of course, thinking you know everything, me and Barbara Ann quit school to get a job. But we did go back to school and got our GED. Both of us did.
Right. So Miss Barbara Ann is Miss Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay, right. And so, what job did you quit school for?
Well, I went to work as a clerk in a drugstore.
Really?
Then wound up being a cosmetician.
Yeah.
And she wound up with a job in Winn-Dixie, checking out groceries. And it was so weird because I was on one end of the parking lot, the shopping center, and she was on the other end because she's worked for Winn-Dixie.
Right.
And people would come in the store, in my store, and then they would go down to Winn-Dixie to buy groceries, and they would look at her and say, "I just left you. What are you doing down here?"
That's right. Everybody said y'all could be twins, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that went on for as long as she worked there and as long as I worked there. And after she came up missing, it was probably a day or two after she came up missing, I had to go to the grocery store over in Holden. And there was 3 people in line, and the lady in the front, she kept staring at me, and I thought, well, I got clothes on, what's wrong? What's she looking at? Is something wrong with me? But after she got checked out, she came around the counter, and she says, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry I was staring at you." But she said, "You look so much like that lady that was just kidnapped." And I told her, I said, "Well, I have a right, that was my baby sister." And but she says, it was on Wednesday. She says, and I told her, I said, "Will y'all pray for her?" She said, I'm on my way to prayer meeting now. She said, "We will pray for you." And thank goodness there wasn't nothing else wrong with me.
Right. This popped into my head from both Christy and Ricky's interviews with their kids. One of them at the cemetery said that that lady said she loves me, and they got home and saw a picture of Miss Barbara and said that's the lady. But then Ricky's kid was playing in the room at night, and he said, "Who you playing with?" He said, "Aunt Sarah." And then later on he saw the picture and said, "That's Aunt Sarah."
Yeah.
And it was your sister, Miss Barbara.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were afraid of me for a while, because they thought, it was weird to them because they would see their mom, Barbara Ann's picture, and they would look at me and they thought, well,
That is so.
it was confusing to them.
Yeah. Well, that's powerful. So you know what, you're a very pretty lady.
Well,
so I didn't get
you.
to meet Miss Barbara, so
Well, you're just about looking at her, except she's a lot younger.
That's what I'm sitting here thinking. So, can you tell me anything you want to about Miss Barbara?
Well, the day that she came up missing, my husband and I were in our kitchen. We were putting up, what is it?
The backsplash.
Backsplash, yeah. And my phone rang, and I answered, and it was Christian. She says, "Aunt Sarah, have you talked to Mama today?" And I said, "No. Is anything wrong?" She said, "Well, I've been trying to call her, and she don't answer the phones. I've called the house phone and the cell phone, and she don't answer." And I said, "No, I haven't seen her today." But I said, wait a minute, I gotta catch my breath.
It's okay. Hey, take your time.
And anyway, I said the last time I talked to her was yesterday. She had taken Aunt Ruby to the doctor and to the grocery store, and they stopped at Walmart to pick up prescriptions for my other sister. And she said, "Well, she's missing." She says, "We can't find her," said she's not home. And from then, when she got home, after she called Raymond to go look and see if he could find her, and she called me. Told me that her car was missing, the door was open, and she was on her way home, and Lord, my mind is so blank.
It's okay. Miss Sarah, this is tough. All right.
It is tough.
And it's ripping off. I know it's never gone away for you. You cry all you want to.
We were so close, and I missed her so much. We had such a good time together. We loved one another. All of us kids, all 10 of us, but the boys were mean. Right. We had to tolerate them, but she and I were so close. And after her husband got killed, me and my husband go over there almost every other weekend and, help her around the house, do like mow the yard and help her. But she was a tough lady.
Yeah.
she'd get out there, she'd take care of those cows, and she'd mow her yard, and she'd done everything that she needed to do, and she exercised regularly.
I saw pictures of her house from back then, and man,
Immaculate.
I mean, the yard, it was like a country.
That's the way she was. Yeah. But we were born and raised poor. We lived in shacks with holes in the floor where you could sweep all the dirt in there. And but my mother kept it clean. She says cleanliness is next to godliness. So, and my husband gets aggravated at me now because everything got to be cleaned. And that's the way we were brought up. And we had a wonderful mother. She's a good Christian lady. But she had a tough life. But I know where she's at now.
That's right.
She's enjoying herself.
Right. Forever. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But I sure miss my baby sister.
And I understand it. Let's go back to the day you said Christy called you. She called you from her work or something?
Yeah, she went. She was at Winn-Dixie and they meet, and she called me and asked me if I had talked to her, and I said no, not. Like I said yesterday, I talked to her, and she said, well, I don't know. She said, I guess I'm going to have to leave work and go see if I can find out what's happened. So when I found out she was missing, I stopped everything at the house and we took off.
Do you know about what time of the day that call came in?
It was in the afternoon, and that day we got in the car and I drove as fast as my car would go. It was pouring down rain, and we got there. I can't remember. Yeah, she was already there, and there was a lot of people there. Right. And we didn't say too much to one another, but I tell you, I was so hurt I couldn't think straight, because I just couldn't believe that somebody would do that to her. She didn't deserve that. She was such a good person. She loved her kids. She loved everybody. And you know what? People just don't realize when something like that happens, how devastating and how hurtful it is. After she came up.
Hey, y'all. You want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject or need help with the subject? Is your child ahead, not getting challenged enough in class? Well, IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies while adapting to each child, meeting them where they are. Plus, IXL encourages students to become curious and empowers them to choose how to learn. Look, we homeschool our son. No doubt about it. He's more of a visual learner, and we use IXL, and Cindy teaches him, and there are so many different benefits to the program. It adapts to exactly what he needs in different areas. So IXL is the perfect supplement to your homeschool curriculum. IXL offers interactive practice problems, educational games, lessons, and video tutorials for every topic you're teaching at home. It's easy to use, time-saving. Everything on IXL is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, making it simple to find activities for the exact skills you are covering. IXL offers instant feedback and explanations of new topics as kids use the program. Kids can explore any topic in any grade level. They aren't forced into a single learning path like they are on other programs. If you're homeschooling your child because they were falling behind or because they were too far ahead like our son, IXL is a great program to help them get the exact support they need. Kids love IXL's positive feedback awards and educational games. IXL is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Real Life, Real Crime listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. And don't forget, Real Life, Real Crime listeners get 20% off. Y'all, we really do use this product, and it's been a godsend. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference God will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin-baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
Missing. I'd try to sleep at night and I couldn't. If I closed my eyes, I would see her hollering, "Help me, help me, help me." And I'd say, "God, what can I do? I don't even know where she's at." And I didn't always answer my phone before this happened, but when after she was kidnapped, every time it would ring, I'd run to it because I think maybe somebody's got holding her captive and maybe she got to a phone, and I knew probably the first person she'd call would be me. But it never happened. And I tell you, people don't understand how hurtful, how they can hurt somebody by doing something to hurt their family. I love my family. I wouldn't do anything to hurt any of them. I wouldn't hurt anybody. Not only my family, I wouldn't hurt anybody's family.
Right. And unfortunately, for every you there is in the world, there's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
There's pure evil out there.
But you know what? I have peace now because after praying and thinking about it all these years, I know where she's at. She's not suffering. She's not having to work hard.
Absolutely.
And I know she misses me and I miss her.
Right. And you know you see her again.
Oh, I know I want to see her again. She's up there with my mama and my daddy, my brothers, and my sisters that's gone on before us.
Right. But I want to bring her home.
Oh, I would
to have a burial.
Oh, I would like to know what happened to her. I don't really want to know what they done to her, as per se. I would just like to know who did it and why. Right. Because she didn't bother anybody. She was a good lady. She would help anybody. She had a heart of gold. She was a tough mama, and she raised her children right, even though they didn't do right. Right. She raised them right.
Right. And by all accounts, she was just like super mom.
Oh, she was.
And like Ricky said, he didn't even own any pots. And whenever there was a grown man and ate every day, and Chris said the same thing.
Yeah.
She'd drop her dogs off and get breakfast every day. I'm like, my mom paid me not to come home and do that.
Well, I tell you what, she loved them, and she loved all children. My nephew had a little boy. His wife had a little boy, and she would go get it over in Denham Springs and pick him up and bring him home with her and take him out there and play with him, let him see the cows and just entertain. She loved children.
But also she was stern.
Oh yeah, she was tough, and they knew to do what she told them, but she always had trouble one of them not paying the bills on time, and she'd tell them, you need to pay that bill. Well, that's all right. I'll pay the extra. She said, well, why would you want to pay extra when you can go ahead and pay it and get it off your plate? But she didn't listen. Right. She always did things her own way.
Right.
But
so let's go back to that day. You get there. There's people there, and what do they tell you?
Nobody really knew anything. From we were down at Raymond Jr.'s house. That was Barbara Ann's husband's brother, I think, or nephew. And we all gathered down there, and, we just didn't know what to think. Because I know she didn't leave on her own. She would have never, ever left her home and her children. And she always wanted grandbabies.
Right.
Her and her husband both, they lived to have grandchildren.
They said.
And it just wasn't meant to be, I guess. But now here she's got 2 grandchildren.
Yeah.
4.
Right.
4, oh yeah, that is, yeah, 4, yeah.
And when I spoke with, I don't know if you listened to the other podcast with Ricky and Christy, but both of them's children, one of them said that they were at the cemetery, said this lady's there telling me that she loves me, and then they got home and they saw Miss Barbara's picture and said that's the lady from the cemetery. And then the other one, they kept hearing the child in the middle of the night playing and talking to somebody in the room, and Ricky went in and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm playing with Aunt Sarah." And of course, they thought they had an imaginary friend, but then later on, they saw Miss Barbara's picture on the thing and said, "That's Aunt Sarah."
Yeah, so they had us confused.
That's just so. I believe that she knows. And
Yeah.
Children, they say, are more susceptible to
That's right.
spirits, but I don't know.
Those little children missed a wonderful grandmother. And she would, if her and her husband could have had those grandchildren when they were alive, they would have been like they were just on the top of the world.
Back to her house in that day, what do you think could have caused her to run out of her house and leave that quick like that, where she left the door open and then dropped the phone on the carport and the glasses and the purse and all that were there?
She didn't leave on her own. I'll tell you that right now, because we wear shorts at home, but we don't wear shorts anywhere else. And from what Christy said, she had on a pair of shorts and Crocs. And the only way she would have left if she was forced to leave, or if she knew something happened to one of her children or somebody in her family, that would be the only way she would have left. The only way. She had to be forced out of her house.
Especially for the phone to be dropped in the doorway, the door to be open, and the purse and the glasses to be
Still.
left behind. Now, I know you know this case probably better than anybody, but the witness that saw Miss Barbara talking right down from her house on that Hun Club Road, whatever they call it, and it was right in the middle of the day. They described it, and I mean he said when he passed by, she made eye contact with him, but she didn't have glasses on. She made eye contact with him, and he gave us such a strange feeling that he called the residence he just left and said, "Hey, I just saw this lady up here." He didn't know her. "I saw this lady up here. I think she may have been in some kind of trouble." And they went on to Alabama or wherever it was they went, and they heard a couple of days later this lady went missing, and they saw the picture, and he said, "That's the lady." He said, "That's the lady that," and the car. He picked out the car, said that's the car that was parked in front of the truck, and ultimately that's where the car that's the road. It's not even a road. The Hun Club Lane that her car was found off of. But what threw him off, I think, originally was that everybody in the family said she wasn't going anywhere without her glasses.
She don't.
That guy said she didn't have a glass on, but guess what? The glasses were at home.
At home.
So for her to leave like that.
She didn't leave by herself. She didn't leave on her own. She was forced.
See, I think, and I hadn't been planning on talking about this today, but I think that witness is very credible on what he saw on the side of the road. But at that point, at least we know she was freely and voluntarily standing at his door talking to him. So to me, she had been tricked out.
Right.
And everybody says it had to be. What do you think? First of all, from the investigation stuff, and I haven't talked about this before in the podcast. The people told me she isn't just going to leave that house. Or first of all, she isn't going to just open the door for anybody.
No.
Right?
No, because there was people that would come to her house, and she had windows all on one side, and and the driveway was there, and the car, and then you turn left to go to the carport. And if somebody came up and she didn't know who they were, she wouldn't even answer the door.
Exactly.
And there was one girl that came from I think it was the district attorney's office that she had met, and she didn't know who she was. And the lady called her and she says, "Barbara, this is so and so." She says, "I just want to talk to you." So she would let her in, but otherwise she wouldn't let nobody in.
Right. And then she had dogs.
Yeah, she had
so
a
she
dog.
would have known, for y'all that don't live in the country, the dogs are the best alarm system you can have. And Miss Barbara's house sat, although it was off of a state highway, it still sat far back from the road.
Yeah.
And your dog's going to let you know when somebody turns off the state highway.
Exactly.
So
They
you
could
know.
hear it.
And if she's in the kitchen cleaning, like Christy said, the pots were out or whatever, the dog's going to be barking going crazy. She's going to know somebody's coming.
Yeah.
And the kitchen windows were open.
That's right. And,
Yeah. And she would have never left on her, unless somebody forced her to leave all of her pots and pans on the floor. She'd have finished doing her job.
Right. And I know it's speculation on my part, but I think that it has to be some type of emergency play, something. The only thing, as a mother and a sister, her life, just to get her to run out of the door like that, jump in her car,
It had to be something
and go
major.
right down the road. What do you think?
It's got to be something major. Somebody told her something, or she heard something, or whatever. But she wouldn't have left on her own. And really, she would have never went down there on the hunting club band by herself anyway.
Yeah. Well, you think about that. It's not probably 300 yards from the end of her driveway. I'm thinking, and I don't know if I should be talking about this, but what I'm thinking is that whatever ruse they used to get her out, she sobered up real quick. It was like, oh, well, maybe this doesn't make any sense, and stops.
Well, since she didn't, we don't know if the car went there or not, but I'm thinking when I first found out about it, I was thinking that maybe somebody that knew she was there by herself would walk through the woods, because they found a spot of mud on her floor. And I'm thinking that somebody, of course this is me thinking, and that whatever that means, that they walked through the woods and got her to drive her car back over there. Now, I don't know if that...
And I understand what you're saying, and all options are open, but you have to think about the fact that you have to take into account the fact that the witnesses, the male and the female, saw her inside the road with this vehicle talking to the guy, and he made that eye contact. And what I think, again, through investigators' office initially was the lack of glasses or whatever, but the car. Yeah. Her to drop the phone, the door's open, where the phone was dropped, like in the carport, it's like, oh my God. Yeah. And such a rush. Look, I'm old now. I can't see anything anymore, right? Yeah. And for her to run out without her glasses, without her purse, whatever. From everybody I talked to, it seems like somebody must have said. I was thinking maybe they could have come up and said one of your cows is out or got hit by a car or something like that. But I don't think that would even cause that.
I don't think.
It should have taken a second maybe to call a family member and say, "Come help me with this," or whatever. And we know that didn't happen by the phone logs.
And I also years ago was thinking that Aunt Barbara Ann was such a caring and helpful person, and she would do anything in the world for anybody. And so with that phone, her cordless phone from the home being knocked out and on the driveway with the back off of it, that someone may have concocted a story to say, look, my car just broke down, but I'm en route to take my father or my mother to the hospital. They got to get them to the emergency room. Can I borrow your phone? And she might have cracked the door and handed the phone out, and that they might have knocked the phone out of their hand, pushed their way in. Yeah. She would have helped anybody. But she was also very cautious. I mean, she had a loaded 38 on her dresser,
Absolutely.
and she had no problem, you know. I mean, they were a hunting family, you know, gun cabinet full of guns, but a loaded one on her dresser. She wouldn't have just let anybody in, but she might would have cracked it to help somebody, to give them the phone, you know.
Yeah.
I tell you, she's a tough lady. She was strong. She worked on that
very
farm,
strong.
and she exercised regularly. Took good care of herself.
So obviously she must have been tricked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. Let's just assume the witnesses that saw her talking to the person in the vehicle, they don't have any reason to make it up, but let's assume that's right. At some point, and I think it was Christy told me, that said she wouldn't have gone without a struggle. At some point when she realized something wasn't right, what do you think?
She would have fought.
I mean, y'all raised that thing, right?
She was, and that's why I often wondered, you know, he had to be a strong person, or it had to be two of them, because she was strong. Get out there and work on the tractor, mow the yard, do everything around the house.
Feed the cows. I mean, she was like a workout lady, did exercise, lifted weights, took her vitamins and her supplements. I mean, she was
She's healthy.
very healthy,
and
she didn't go down without a fight. But then afterwards, if they broke her some way to where she would stop fighting, do you know what she would do next?
Pray.
Pray and beg them that, you know, your mother, think about your own mother. Would she approve of you doing this to me? Please don't hurt me. God will forgive you. I won't tell. She would be begging and pleading and praying and witnessing for them.
Wow.
That's how strong she was in her faith.
Wow.
She was.
Let's talk about that for a second, because you're saying, and I never thought about this. I thought about her physically fighting, but you're saying if she's smart enough to know if I can't beat it physically, I'm going to use my faith.
That's right.
And try to appeal to them as a human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which tells you how evil these people have to, what they have to do.
I'll tell you one thing, it's been a long 12 years, almost 13, was it 13 years now?
Coming up. I mean, the devastation that this whole ordeal has caused our family is just, it's beyond comprehension. I mean, we can watch TV and see stuff happen, you know, but it's like, no, that's not really, you know, you cannot understand or feel it until it happens to your family. I mean, in the days that she was missing, because I went there that Friday evening as well, my husband and I, we stayed in a hotel and ate meat. And, you know, within 2 days, Mom and her husband and my husband and I, we actually stayed in Aunt Barbara Ann's house. And that was not a comfortable feeling.
Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of an LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser-cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
That she was taken from that house. And then it was almost like a war zone because all of the neighbors come together, the choppers were in the air searching, it was just like a bad dream, and it's something that happens to other people. Well, we learned the hard way. No, when it hits your home and your family,
It's real.
It is very real, and you can never replace that emptiness.
And that's why it's so important that the listeners get to hear.
Yes.
Because, of course, I'm in the true crime genre, right? So they're used to stories like this and stuff, but they're not hearing this on TV. They're hearing it from y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because we did not ask or petition the media. And I'm not talking about the local Baton Rouge TV stations and newspapers. They have been very good on, providing coverage for Aunt Barbara Ann's case. But we petitioned Nancy Grace. You can go all the way down through the list of sending them, the FBI flyer in a story. And no one would bite on it because guess what? Aunt Barbara Ann was a simple lady. She was a Sunday school teacher. There was no sensationalism, if you will.
She wasn't.
If she would have been, and I'm just going to throw this out here, okay? If she would have been a closet lesbian who ran off with the pastor's wife,
it would have been.
then it would have been
Everything would have lit up.
Right.
There was nothing in her circle of life that she would never harm anybody.
There was no dirt in her life.
No, ma'am. No skeletons in the closet.
That's why we need to fight harder.
Mm-hmm.
And because she is the furthest from what I call the high-risk lifestyle.
That's
She's
correct.
the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But she was a sister and an aunt and a mama and would have got a chance to be a grandmother.
Well, after she came up missing, somebody I said that they had seen her in the casino. And so they got all the pictures, and it was not my sister. She wouldn't have went in the casino.
Never, right?
No. And you know what? She would have never went off. And there were speculations that maybe she ran off with a boyfriend or something.
She wouldn't have.
She never dated. And I just want to tell you for the record, when we stayed there that 2 days after she was kidnapped, Uncle Junior's cologne was still on her bathroom vanity.
And that's her husband.
Yes, sir.
Died
Yes, sir.
many years before the horrific accident. accident, crash.
And when he got killed, that family, Aunt Barbara Ann, Ricky, and Christy, they became even closer. You know, I mean, that's why Christy knew immediately that something wasn't wrong. I mean, something was wrong because her mom would never go off and leave the cell phone, and she didn't answer the phone.
And you know, I've had some tips from people that say, "Oh, maybe she had a boyfriend." And y'all are nixing that, right?
Yes, sir.
No, she
Not at all. She did not.
She would have never. She would have
dated.
never. She would have never.
Yeah, but see, I get a lot of tips, and which is good, and every one of them has to be looked at, every angle, and so lifers, whatever angle you can come up with might be the one. But here's the deal: somebody out there knows what happened, or people out there know what happened, because I do not believe this was one person. Okay, and they just like on the narcotics case, every drug dealer that ever gets busted is because the drugs have to move from point A to point B. They obviously moved Miss Barbara from point A, her residence, to wherever they put her.
That's right.
And somebody knows. Now, lifers, how many years has it been? 12?
Picture me 13 in May.
Yeah, almost 13 years. You're older now. You got probably a grandmother of your own. You may be a grandmother or a grandfather now, or maybe your grandparents have passed, or maybe your mom or dad has died. Maybe you're in a different lifestyle. Maybe you were running with the wrong crowd back then. I don't care. Whatever you heard, whatever you saw, I can work with you on it. I just need to know, okay? And it can be anonymous, and we need your help. Sarah, if you could ask somebody for help, what would you say to them?
All I can say is, if it happened to someone in your family, would you want somebody to help you? And it's just a never-ending circle. You know, from day to day. It's, you know, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her. And it's even worse at night when you go to bed and, you know, you can see her begging you to help her, and you can't do anything because you don't know where she's at.
I know it's hard for you, and I know you can cry about it. Can you tell me about that? Because I'm a visual person. When you go to bed, what?
Well, I just lay there, and then all of a sudden her face is there, and she's crying, and she says, "Help me, help me, help me." And I think, God, how can I help her when I don't even know where she's at? If I knew where she was at, I could have went and helped her, and I would have. And it's just something, you know you can't do anything, and it even hurts worse to know that she's begging for help and I can't help her. If I knew where she's at, I'd walk across the world to help her. But I tell you, whoever did this to her, I pray that God will save their soul, because if they don't repent and get forgiveness, they're going to spend an eternity in a bad, bad place, and it's going to be forever. And where the Bible says the fire quenches not, they'll never get over it. And like I say, I have comfort now knowing I know where she's at. That nobody will hurt her again.
How often does she come to you like that? I mean,
it's been a little while now, but you know, I don't sleep very much at night, so.
Yeah, I want you to know something. You are helping her. You're helping her right now. Okay?
I hope so. I hope.
And God's an on-time God, and we are going to. I am going to work this, and until I die, or we find out what happened.
And I appreciate it.
And Sheriff R is, I'm telling you, is not a politician's play for this man. He is as fired up about this as I've ever seen him fired up about any case, and which is rare for a law enforcement official to go outside of his agency and ask somebody to come in and help.
Yeah.
But you're helping her right now, and I know this is hard. And I don't know what to say about it. It breaks my heart when you say that, but you didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that you could have done different. and she wouldn't want you to have nightmares like
Yeah.
that.
You know, it just was, when we would go, when me and my husband would go over there after Junior got killed, she'd see us coming up the driveway and she'd walk out, that big old smile on her face, and be so glad that we were there. And we'd spend the weekend with her, and we had a good time. We'd usually get in the car and go over and see my oldest sister in Denham Springs. And she was ready to go. You know, when we went over there, we go met this lady in Baton Rouge, a nursing home, a friend of ours, his sister. Yeah, it's his sister over there. We went over there and met her, and you know, we meet anybody. You know, we love people.
Right.
You know, nobody's a stranger to us. If they want to, if we can befriend them, we will.
Yeah.
And but I tell you, the hurt never goes away.
Yeah.
But like I say, the only peace I have is I know where she's at,
That's right.
That's
and
the
she
only
won't be hurt
peace.
again.
Right.
That's right. Well,
And whoever did this stole so much from us. I mean,
Pray for 'em.
The kids' birthday, the grandkids' birthday parties, you know, I mean, this is all she ever wanted was grandchildren, and now she has them, but she's not here. Ball
Yeah.
games with the grandkids, you know.
She
I
would-
mean,
she would
have
enjoy
taught them
it.
how to fish.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I mean, just
She missed out on a lot of it.
yeah.
They
and
took it
was
away from her.
Stolen from her, and definitely has stolen a part of us, of all of
Mhm.
our family. I mean, her younger brother, she was kidnapped on his birthday. How can he ever have another happy birthday in his life?
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got severe dementia because of the stress of all of this. It's horrible. It's just a never-ending thing. You know, you hear people, they say, you know, you need closure, you need closure. Well, the only thing I think that gets us through is that we know that whoever did this to her, she was taking that last opportunity to witness to them. And she's in heaven, and that's the only thing that can give us any
Peace.
type of comfort and peace right now, is to know that she's not suffering anymore. She's not having to work hard on her yard, you know, the big acreage that she had there with the cows. And she was just a good woman through and through.
And she raised her children right, and they knew
Yes.
they knew when they were in her home they behaved, even after they were grown.
Nothing gave her more joy than cooking supper for her
Yeah.
kids.
Mm-hmm. Breakfast too, a lot of times.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She took care of them. I'll see her again one day.
That's what we have to focus on.
And I just want to thank y'all.
Well, I want to say that whoever kidnapped her, I want them to know I pray for them every day, and I've already forgiven you. If I knew that you did it, I wouldn't want to harm you. I would just ask you to turn to God and ask for forgiveness, because in the end, you're going to be the loser if you don't. I wouldn't. I'd beg you to turn to the Lord and ask Him for forgiveness. Because really, she never did anything bad to anybody. She'd help you. She'd do anything for you except hurt you, and she wouldn't do that.
I get
So
angry because I pray that they never get an ounce of peace. Mom's made that step to forgive. I'm not there yet. Not there yet.
well, the only reason I can forgive is because I know that they're going to pay for what they've done, and the Bible says you have to forgive. For unforgiveness will
Eat you up. It would.
it'll
But I
run you
don't
crazy.
want them to rest. I don't want them to be able to even look themselves in the mirror. I don't want them to have any peace. I want this to just, they need to realize what they have done.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just Aunt Barbara Ann that they harmed and took and removed from this earth. They have left a tragic path of devastation behind. And it's,
I just can't imagine who would want to hurt her. But I do. I mean, I'll have to tell them. I've prayed and I have forgiven them. I don't wish them no harm, even though what they've done to her. I can't I can't wish them harm because payday's coming. And I don't have to take revenge on them because God's going to do the revenging.
Vengeance belongs to God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing with me and with the I call them fans lifers, the lifers out there, the people who listen to the podcast. And I was just beg you, somebody knows something. And y'all, every time I release an episode, every time I do a post about Miss Barbara, I get more tips. Share this episode. Sharing equals tips. And the tips, somebody is going to do something. Somebody, I hope you've heard the pain and the love here today. And I hope you find it in your heart to reach out to me. So we can, there's never really closure, but at least this family can know what happened and begin to process it from that standpoint. And also, it's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. Okay? So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless y'all. All right, everybody. That's going to conclude this episode of Real Life, Real Crime.
Hey guys, Toby Tomplay again. Woody asked me also to let you guys know about LOPA. Woody has been talking about LOPA a lot lately. It's a beautiful organization, and he wanted me to tell y'all, and I'm not going to take a lot of time doing this, but one of my best friends of the last probably 15 years tragically lost his daughter a few weeks ago. And my friend's name is Jeff Hood. His daughter's name was Ashley Hood. And I'm looking at this letter right now that Jeff and his wife Christina got regarding Ashley, their daughter, being an organ donor. The letter says, the Baton Rouge Regional Eye Bank has received the corneas you generously consented to donate. 2 visually impaired people have received corneal transplant surgery to restore sight. We wish to express our gratitude for your daughter Ashley's precious gift. The understanding and support like yours gives patients in our community a second chance for sight, health, and life. Wow. That's powerful, you guys. Become an organ donor. Because of Ashley's gift, because she just checked that box on the back of her driver's license that said she was an organ donor, 2 people now have the chance to see. That's huge. Thank you, Ashley Hood, for giving the gift of life.
Lifers, give the gift of life. Be an organ donor. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder by You. Peace.
Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Real Life, Real Crime is a true crime podcast brought to you by Woody Overton and executive producer Toby Tomplay.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play, like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.